It is August 10th, 2018. Hi there, folks. Welcome to our Vegas Nation Stadium Show, where we provide the inside analysis and all the up-to-date information on what is happening with the NFL Stadium set to open in Las Vegas in 2020. I'm Bill Bradley, sports editor for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. This week, I'm filling in for your regular host, Ed Graney. I'm pleased to be joined today by RJ reporter Rick Velotta. In general terms, how is construction going at the Raiders Stadium?
It's going at a rapid pace. Anybody who drives past it, who I've spoken with, said, I can't believe how fast that stadium is going up. and it truly is. The north end of the stadium, you can actually see how the bowl is being formed in terms of where the field is going to be. And they're just ripping right through it in 110-degree heat, I might add.
Wow. So you're actually able to see, obviously we already know there's concrete pillars in there. You're actually able to see concourses being formed.
That's right. That's right. They have a lot of the things that you don't see when you actually walk into a stadium. There's like the drainage areas and some of the electricity where that's all going to go. They have to put that in first, obviously, because when they put the finishing touches on, that's all going to be hidden and covered up.
Like building a house.
Exactly. And so one of the things that they've done is done a lot of work with the ground level and especially that north end. Although in the weeks ahead, you're going to start seeing them actually lay out the track area where that portable field is going to be on the outside and will be rolled into the stadium when, on game days. Okay,
now the Southern Nevada Sporting Event Committee will be making recommendations for new events for the Southern Nevada sports facilities, including the new stadium. They canceled their meeting this week. Does that mean anything?
No, it doesn't. It really is, think about it. You've got 19 people on a committee, so that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people for any committee.
So the fact that they were trying to do this in the middle of summer, and they put an ambitious schedule together by design because they want to have a report to give to Governor Brian Sandoval and to the Nevada legislature by December 31st. Right. So they're on a pretty tight timeline to get all the work done that they need to do. Well, doing it in the summertime, you're bound to have a lot of people missing during doing summer vacations, things like that. But what they'll probably do is they may double up on 1 month and meet twice, so they can get caught up on things. But nothing to read into that. I don't think there's no big concern about it.
So catch me up. What is the function of this committee?
All right, this committee formed by the governor by executive order. Their purpose is to develop events that can come and use any facility in Las Vegas in the future. So we're talking about some of the existing arenas that are here, but there's a lot of emphasis on this new stadium. What types of things can go into the stadium on a recurring basis so that we can count on that as a weekend or a revenue source on a regular basis, and just come up with a lot of different ideas. And some of these ideas are coming forward by just looking at what other communities are doing, also looking at what some of the existing organizations that do a lot of event planning are doing. Big presentation by the LVCVA and by Las Vegas Events at the first meeting back in June.
Right.
So there's a lot of idea people on this committee. Lots of representation from the resort community, some representation from the from elected officials. So, and mostly people who are involved in tourism. Also from some of the professional sports teams. The Raiders are represented on the thing. The Vegas Golden Knights are represented. So we're seeing a lot of different people with different ideas coming together to come up with some new ideas on what they can put in several buildings in Las Vegas.
Okay. In the past month, I'd say, the biggest news to the average fan has been dealing with personal seat licenses.
Oh, yes.
Many fans acted like this was news to them. They thought their deposit was going to go toward tickets, not seats. However, Rick, can you explain how PSLs, or the Raiders are calling them, I believe, builders licenses, how do these PSLs work?
Well, what they do is first off, they ask for people who are interested in seats to put down a $100 deposit.
Right.
So I think a lot of people felt, well, okay,
I got my tickets.
I've got my tickets and I'm ready to go. But then what that PSL does is it gives you the opportunity to buy season tickets. And once you sign on as a PSL, a personal seat license owner, that commits you to buying season tickets. once you've established that, there's no turning back. You're going to have to buy those or forfeit your license. So what that does is they've decided to break out the stadium into 3 different tiers of seats so that people can purchase their seat licenses, and then eventually, once the seat licenses are signed on by anybody who wants to buy them, then you can buy your tickets. And as we've talked about before, there's a pretty wide range of PSL prices here that I think give a lot of people some sticker shock.
How much money can the Raiders make off these? I guess give me the range, and how much money can the Raiders make off these? Because I think we talked about this.
Yeah,
they're gonna profit from this.
Well, I think that everybody was shocked when the first tier was announced, because those were the high-end seats.
Right.
Those were the club seats. Those are the seats that are in the boxes that are special, that have some really great views. Also, they're like right on the sideline. They're just elevated just slightly above field level, so you can see the game. Plus, there are some that have clubs that they're actually underneath the stands, and they'll be able to high-five the players as they come out on the field, which I think is kind of an interesting concept.
I think Seattle and Dallas both have those.
And also Minnesota has that. So it's kind of a fun part of being a club member owner. But those PSL prices came out, and the range was $20,000 per seat, all the way up to $75,000 per seat. And that's for 8,000 seats. So you can say right there that that's a pretty big chunk of change that's going to be made by the team.
And they say they've sold those out, right?
They say they have. And another interesting fact about that is that about 73% of those are going to owners who have Nevada license or Nevada addresses. So that kind of indicates that there's a high percentage of local interest in the team, which I think you and I kind of knew that was going to be the case anyway.
There was some complaints, people saying, well, I heard that there was Oakland fans getting the priority on these seats, but I'm not hearing that from the Raiders in that regard.
They did give Raiders season ticket holders first shot at
Oakland season ticket holders, right?
Right, but the fact is that a lot of those people are not going to be able to come to Las Vegas on a regular basis.
Right.
But you know, in deference to those who would, they want to give them the first priority.
They've been with the team for 30 years.
Exactly. They want to reward that loyalty that they've had to the team. So it was a pretty good, easy call for the Raiders to do something like that. But anyway, then the next tier that came out, the range of seats was between $3,900 and $15,000. Those were for mid-level seats. And when I say mid-level, we're talking about some seats that may not have the great sight lines. The high end of that, the $15,000 PSL seats, are down in the corners near the end zone. And then the lower end of that, the $3,900 seats, are up on the very highest level of the stadium, but they're at midfield.
Wow.
So there's quite a range there.
Okay, so I'm Joe Vegas fan. And I forked over my money for an upper deck or lower deck level PSL. Now, how much will it cost me for tickets?
Okay, now for the tickets. Now we just talked about the opportunity to buy the tickets.
Right.
and I think a good guide right now is to see what the Raiders charge now.
Right.
And maybe tack on 10 to 15% above that.
Right.
So right now the upper reserve midfield seats for season tickets, $645. So.
Right.
You know, you're going to probably add about $70 to that, maybe put it
Which
in the
actually
range of,
is pretty darn good for an NFL seats, yes.
But those are for the upper reserve midfield.
Yes.
Okay, then the mezzanine end zone seats, $750 is what it is now, $820 for lower reserve end zone seats, and $855 for lower reserve corner seats. So again, think in terms of probably 10 to 15% higher, because they are going to mark up those prices from what they have in Oakland. And honestly, I think that the facility is going to be far better than what they have in Oakland right now. So, and actually, the stadium experience is part of what they're selling here too. This is an indoor, climate-controlled stadium. It's going to have a fantastic view of the Strip, and they're going to have some great amenities within the stadium. They're hoping that people are going to want to come to the park and not just enjoy the Raiders games. Obviously, that's their prime purpose.
There's something else to the stadium.
But they're going to enjoy some of the amenities that they have inside the stadium as well.
Rick, the Raiders will need more than a stadium when they move to Las Vegas in 17 months. Yes, it's that soon. And when we return from this commercial, we'll talk about the Raiders' proposed training facility with Eli Segall.
RAV4, it's up for anything. Toyota, let's go places.
Nights to Remember. Order this hardcover commemorative book now at knightsbook.com. You'll get 160 pages filled with historic pictures and stories from a record-breaking season. Nights to Remember. Order now, knightsbook.com.
Welcome back to our Vegas Nation Stadium Show. I'm Bill Bradley, along with my Review Journal colleague, Rick Velotta. We welcome to the show RJ business reporter Eli Segall. Eli, you've been following the Raiders' plans to build a training facility in Henderson. First, why Henderson, and why did the team pick a location so far south of the heart of the city?
Well, first, I don't think it's uncommon to build a practice facility a good distance from your arena or stadium. You know, if you look at the Vegas Golden Knights, for instance, their practice rink, City National Arena, is a good 15 miles or so from the Strip where they play their home games at T-Mobile Arena. So I don't think that distance is all that uncommon. But I think what probably drew them down to Henderson was the ability to buy a lot of land at a very cheap price. They bought 55 acres from the city of Henderson for just $6 million, which was half of the appraised value. So I think that probably had a lot to do with it.
The Raiders have this land. They want a facility that rivals one just built in Alameda five years ago that they own. When do they put a shovel in the ground, and how long will it take to build, and when do they want it ready?
I think they need it ready by 2020, by the time the team plans to start playing their home games here in Las Vegas. But as for the construction timeline, I'm actually not sure right now. When the City Council, Henderson City Council, voted to sell the team the practice site back in February, a city spokesman at the time said that they expected a groundbreaking around April or May of this year. But the team didn't close its purchase of the land until June. And last time I was out there, which was about 3 weeks ago, there wasn't anything going on. There was no construction.
Oh, wow.
There was no equipment. There were no people. I didn't even see a sign for the Raiders out there at that time. Now, again, that was about 3 weeks ago. Maybe there is some activity out there right now, but at least as of then, I wasn't sure what's going on. And even right now, I'm not exactly sure if they haven't started construction, when they plan to. You
would think mini camps would want to be going in April 2020 in that regard, too. They'd want to at least have some presence down there by then.
Yeah.
Does Henderson have any other plans for the surrounding area? You would think there's a bigger picture plan for the area.
There is other construction going on right now in the vicinity of the Raiders Stadium. Most, if not all, that is not directly related to the practice facility. Rather, there are some warehouses being built just south. I think it's just southeast of the practice facility site. There's another industrial project that's planned. It's about 300,000 square feet, just to the northeast, I want to say. It's adjacent to the practice facility site, but it's just a little bit to the northeast of it. And the city recently just auctioned off about 8 acres of land right nearby for about $8 million to another local developer. Not sure what he's planning to do.
Let's turn our focus back to the stadium. Eli, as for the stadium, what development do you expect to be nearby that might have been sparked by the construction of the stadium?
Yeah, it's tough to say. It's a little too early right now. You know, obviously with the stadium opening 2 years down the road. From the people I've spoken with in the real estate industry, you know, people do expect some development to be sparked right nearby, but probably not just yet. I think as we get closer, maybe a year or two down the road, we might see some more projects popping up. You know, the issue is that most of that area around the stadium is already built out.
Right.
It's mostly industrial. You have some small hotels to the south. You've got a big strip club to the south also, but it's mostly small industrial buildings. And so, you know, someone could go in theoretically and, you know, buy a property, knock it down, do something else. They'd have to get a zoning change, obviously. But again, it's a little too early to say what might be built out there.
Awesome stuff as always, guys. Well, there you have it. We hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, for all your stadium news and updates, go to reviewjournal.com daily and check back here at Vegas Nation, where we continue to bring you the stadium show and the project as it is built before our very eyes. For Review Journal reporters Rick Velotta and Eli Segall, I'm Bill Bradley. Thanks for watching.